This first lesson is to drop bullshit expectations. So when I started dating in New York City, when I was in my early 20s, I lived with a wonderful roommate who I still love to pieces. She gave me some bad advice. She told me that in order for a man to be worthy of my time, he has to pay for dinner on the first date. There's no exceptions to this. If he doesn't, he is a scumbag. And of course, she was a little older than me, and I looked up to her in a sense. And sure enough, I went on dates, and I expected the guy to pay, and I went on this one date, and the guy didn't. And I would always offer to pay, though, hoping that they would deny my request, regardless of how much money I was making. I was making plenty of it, and I went out with one med student who was probably poor, and he didn't offer to pay for the whole meal. He said, "Oh, you can pay the tip." And I remember being nerved, like, oh man, he really ruined this date. He was so close, and then he made me pay the tip. And it was this like inner conflict. Like, part of me knew that this wasn't a good way of thinking about things, that it was quite superficial, but I just didn't know. But at the same time, I knew my value, and I knew what I grew up, the values that I learned growing up, which is like, you're worth it, don't settle for someone who doesn't appreciate you. And so I let this stuff really affect the way I thought of men and how we were supposed to interact. And so that's the point of this. The point of this story is to say that these types of things are really not worth fretting about. If you are a feminist, and if you are listening to this, I really hope you are. If not, maybe you can still get something out of this. So you're welcome here too. But you will believe that men and women should be have equal opportunities in the world, and should be treated equally. And if you believe that, then you should not believe that men should pay for a first date no matter what, especially if they make less money and weren't the ones to invite you or something like that. Of course, once in a while it's great, and you could always accept an offer to be taken out to dinner. But these kind of superficial expectations, oh, he needs to buy me flowers for my birthday, he needs to pick me up on the way to the date, we can't meet there, he needs to open the door for me. These kinds of superficial things are ruining you. They are making you think of things that don't matter. Dating is very simple. There is only one thing that really matters, whether or not you guys connect with one another. And that starts with loving someone. It starts with looking at them as an individual and trying to see who they really are and sharing who you really are. It's really not more complicated than that. And when you start to realize that, and you start to date only with that in mind, it becomes you will become not only more attractive, but you will enjoy the process more. So that is step 1. This is the first lesson. I hope you enjoyed it, and stay tuned for lesson number 2.